Hello and welcome everybody to the Wrestling Lounge. Welcome to this week's episode, the first episode of the Wrestling Lounge. I'm your host Bear, and I am joined by none other than cousin Rufus. Rufus, welcome in. Thank you for coming by. How are you?
Thanks. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here. So this is the Wrestling Lounge, guys. We are your hosts, and we are going to discuss all things wrestling. We're going to give our take on wrestling, the wrestling business, the angles. We are going to discuss um, all wrestling, AEW, TNA, WWE, SmackDown, Raw, and
Love to have your guys' feedback too.
absolutely. We got a
Mhm.
link right there, the Wrestling Lounge 25 at Gmail. Send your questions in, guys. Get interactive, and we will look at all your questions and maybe answer some on the next show. So, with that being said, we got a lot to talk about. I see, first of all, Cousin Rufus supporting the WrestleMania throwback.
Yeah, I got my old school WrestleMania T-shirt that I got when I was 10 years old at WrestleMania, the first WrestleMania that I attended. Somehow, believe it or not, it still fits.
There you go.
So.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about, guys. We're going to jump right in. I think the first thing we're going to talk about is what's been on everybody's mind.
The
And
Unreal Series.
correct,
What's that? Is that on?
that is on
Oh,
Netflix.
Netflix.
So this is obviously the show, Rufus, that they're using to draw the curtain back and show all the aspects and dynamics of behind the scenes. And in my personal opinion, ruin everything for all of us. I know that our opinions differ on this, like most of the world. I think you're in the greatest debate of our time when it comes to wrestling. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think with the Unreal Series, you're getting 50-50 mixed reviews on this. Some people, old school, don't care for it because it takes away the kayfabe. Um, as I told you and I've mentioned, kayfabe was taken away quite a while ago.
Curtain call.
So um, that was the Triple H doing. But I think it's neat to be able to see the behind the scenes of how things are done, get to see the gorilla position, get to see that. Um, does it hurt it? I don't necessarily think it's going to hurt. If you're a true wrestling fan, you already know that most stuff's not real, anyways. But I did not. What I didn't realize going into this show that I got to see when I watched it was how much was actually put
Scripted?
scripted just for camera angles, and that's what I'll say is, in my opinion, it was done so they know where to position the camera, know what's coming next. I I was more in the tune of you get out there and you just improved it. You knew who your winner was going to be, who was going to take the match. You improved it, and you. But I like the series. Is it going to hurt wrestling? I don't think it will. I don't think it's going to matter. Most people already knew that a lot of this stuff was scripted anyways, but it takes away I guess
Surprise?
this yeah the surprise of moving forward with matches. But
Well, I think you're right. I think we all knew that wrestling was choreographed, and I think you probably found that out when you were 10, 12, 13 years old.
you
However,
just found out when the series come out
I've
though
had a
that
rough couple
yeah,
weeks.
that's been true.
Listen, with Hogan passing and rest in peace Hogan. I hope that all gets figured out. Um, and here's the deal. There's a lot of heat and a lot of stuff going on with that whole situation. But I will say, without Hogan, we probably wouldn't be sitting here today. The transcending of the business wouldn't have happened the way that it happened. Um, Along the same topic, not to go off topic, but you brought up Triple H killing kayfabe with the curtain call. Well, kudos to that because had Triple H not done what he done, Steve Austin wouldn't have got to come up into the King of the Ring, win it, and cut the greatest promo that was ever heard. So there are ups and downs to it all. But anyways, back to the Hogan thing. Obviously, a legend, a titan, a mega titan in the business. Hulkamania will live forever. I do believe that. Um, I don't. I think it knocks a lot of your credibility out. To be 100% honest with you, especially when you come into injuries and you come into certain things like that, because now how much of it is just a put on? I think that WWE has the worst camera angles in the business. What I mean by that is if you go back and you watch, let's say, a Steve Austin, Bret Hart, WrestleMania 13, you go back and watch some of the older stuff, you don't have guys laying there watching the count. They were doing a hard count, kicking out in the gap. Okay, now today you have the worst camera angles where on some promotions you can see guys headbutting their hands. Some, other ones, or the camera angle with the guys looking at the referee counting so they know when to kick out. I mean, get the cameras off that stuff. We know it's choreographed. We just don't want to see how choreographed.
But would you say like the count thing? In my opinion, um, are the camera angles worse today than what they were back in my day when yeah, I mean, but I think what they're trying to capture is in that moment the big stuff. But back to the counting, how much is that on the talent of knowing one, two, kick out? You know what I
I could
mean?
agree with that.
I mean,
I could agree.
if they would learn in their mind and hear, the count and when to kick out, or is it more of just pure not want, lack of wanting to know? I don't know. In my opinion, I think the talent has to hear that ref, count and then kick out. And but no, I mean camera angles are a big thing, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later on down the line here. We'll talk about some who has some good camera angles. So
Yeah, what do you got up next?
let's go into SummerSlam. That's something that everyone seems to be talking about. Had a pretty decent weekend over that. That was a 2 night event. So
Yeah, first two night
um,
event. Looks
yeah.
like it's going to stay a 2 night event.
So I watched it. If I had to rate SummerSlam on a scale of 1 to 10, my rating's going to be about a 5. I rated SummerSlam this year
Hammered them.
about a 5. It in my opinion, I'm sorry, it just wasn't that good. It didn't keep me very entertained.
Agreed. I will agree all the way across the board. I think probably a 6.5. I'll go 6.5 on that. Um,
And to me, I mean, I'll just the Becky Lynch and Valkyria match. I think those two have had this go on and on and on and on and on and on over the same thing over and over, and it's finally good to see this be put to bed. But you can obviously see, and we're talking about camera angles of Valkyria. When she gets her hands zip tied, they they fall out. So again,
well, at
camera
least she put them
angles.
back in.
Oh yeah, they did go
And
back
guess
in.
what? It was right on camera.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, I think that was a horrible match from start to finish. And if you go back and you watch it, you had no crowd engagement whatsoever from the beginning of the match
It,
because it's been ongoing.
I agree.
It's drug itself out so long. So
A lot of people have said due to the zip ties, it lost the crowd. I will agree with you. I did not see the crowd engaged from the start. I really didn't. Now, be that as it is, with the story running for too long or not enough good, grit and content inside that story, I think you have to go back. First of all, who is Lyra Valkyria? I think that there's a better story to be told there. Becky Lynch was a hot ticket at one time, and I'm sure in a lot of people's minds she still is. In mine, she's not. Um, she, in my opinion, is a great mid carder right now for the women's division. And I know that sucks, and I don't mean it to sound bad. I'm just being realistic with it.
do you agree with her? She come back, she come back, uh, and then immediately picks up the title.
I don't. I don't see what's in it for all that. But I don't know. I know before this, I know that as you start to see Lyra Valkyria come out. She's got the crowd wooing in her entrance. She's got the nice get up, and the crowd seems to be with her and chant along with her as she's coming to the ring. Then the Becky Lynch match happens, and it's kind of stagnant. So I think it's just everybody's way of saying we're tired of seeing it. You know, I don't know. I like Lyra Valkyrie. I do. I think she's a good talent. I think it's just time to move on to a better feud.
What do you think of the 6-man tag team match they had
Well,
over the champion? You know, White Six obviously got to keep those belts, but what was your take on having six? I, in my opinion, you had way too many people in the ring.
I'll agree with you.
It was too much to keep up with.
Too much to try to focus on. I did like that they got the women involved with their respective teams.
I bet she's hurting.
Well,
You see
Candice
that bruise
LeRae.
she had on her? Woo-wee.
Oh, Candice LeRae from the top right through that ladder. Yeah, I think that Johnny Gargano probably didn't get very much dinner that week. She was beat up.
Something else, you know, we talked about the Becky Lynch and Valkyria match, how it's going on and on and on and on. And I think that, in my opinion, with your mid-grade people, you've got a lot of decent talent on these rosters. And, you know, you got to see, again, Sami Zayn, Karrion Kross, same storyline over and over. And in my opinion, this stuff gets old week after week after week. And, you know, so you got to see that match on there. I thought those two put on a decent match. It wasn't horrible. It was okay.
I think Karrion's raised the bar for himself as far as interpersonal, ballsy, getting on the mic, speaking his feelings, and making his moves.
But I think that's talent. You got Cross that is really good talent that I don't think they're utilizing it like they should be.
I don't either. You got him in this situation where he's kind of he's jobbing out, if you will, or he's putting over Sami Zayn. And just to give a little reflection, Cross is a real life martial arts guy. He's a real life martial arts guy that's got real life skill sets, real life maneuvers, and real life situations that he could really do some damage. I mean, just going back, look at the 3 ball bats and the when he broke them. Why are you jobbing out to Sami Zayn? I mean, I understand we're following what the bosses say, but what's the purpose? Is this going to be a clear-cut scenario, Rufus, where, again, Unreal has opened the curtain, so Cross just looks like he's getting screwed left and right. He's ready to leave the company. Have they signed a deal?
To my knowledge, yes, they have. At least the last thing I seen, that they did come to an agreement and a new deal has been signed.
And what's in the agreement?
That I
What's
don't
the
know.
agreement? We're going to screw you over on TV. We're going to get you. We're going to beat you down. We're going to ship you off to go do a book signing. Get lots of people out there signing books, and I think they're going to do something with a petition as well. This is where Unreal hurts the business, because if it wasn't for Unreal, you clearly can see he's putting on a frustrated face. He's got frustrated interviews. He's got frustrated social media posts. But now with
Wouldn't
Unreal,
you be frustrated too if you had the same week after week with Sami Zayn?
I would, but
So,
I also
who's booking them? Who's writing this crap?
there you go. I still think that's where Unreal hurts things, because now you say, well, who cares? Because it's probably all written in that way anyway.
Yeah.
It's just fake, Now I don't. That's one aspect of this I don't like, is that whole thing. But Karrion, if you ever see this, man, huge fan, love you to death, love your work, much respect for the jiu-jitsu side of life that you got. I really enjoy that stuff.
Let's talk about one of the matches that people's calling probably one of the best matches of the night, and that's CM Punk and Gunther. That was I feel bad for CM Punk's chest.
Rest in peace, CM Punk's
He
chest.
turned that into hamburger meat.
Ah!
But, and again, I was, old school days, I was a huge Bret Hart fan. Always have been, always will be. And did you see where Bret Hart come out and said that, about Gunther and his slaps, how it's, unprofessional or whatever?
Don't try to hurt your opponent on purpose.
I am a Gunther fan. I like Gunther. I think he makes a great heel. And that, to me, was a match. If I had to rate that match a 1 out of 10 on that, I would probably give it a 7. Something seemed off to me in that
Agreed.
match.
Agreed.
You can see CM Punk kind of, and maybe it was part of it, maybe it was part of the gig, but after he put him in that sharpshooter, it seems like CM Punk was favoring his knee, leg, whatever it may be, but something seemed off in that match.
There definitely was a lot of CM Punk talking to the ref and the ref talking to Gunther. That was there, and then it seemed like, if you watch Gunther, Gunther is kind of a full steam ahead, make you work your ass off in the ring, and that wasn't there. So yeah, does it indicate maybe something was wrong? It does seem that way. I've not seen nothing come out on it. I did see the Bret Hart stuff. Brett, man, if you ever see this, we love you too. I want to know what you think about Gunther's sharpshooter. did did Gunther, I know.
Well, with Bret Hart, I don't think anyone would ever try to reverse it on him. So,
I think
and then again, camera angles. If you watch that match, it took Gunther to fix CM Punk trying to do that. So I laughed. I was like, he's fixing it. CM Punk don't know what he's doing, so
Correct.
Gunther had to fix it for him.
And I know that Bret Hart has been critical on Gunther multiple times in the past. But I need to know, Brett, what do you think about their attempts at the sharpshooters if you ever see this? Guys, what do you think about this particular
I'm
match?
sure he's probably going to say they were crap.
Yeah.
So, you take the best.
He would
best
say
there
something
was,
about
the best there is, and the best there ever will be.
Correct.
So
what would he say? He would say, I think that if you were going to give this an enema, you would start with Gunther and CM Punk.
Now, moving into that, at the end of that match, obviously CM Punk won that match, got to hold the title for a couple minutes, maybe, and then you got to see one of the greats come out, and that was faked an injury.
So did you think it was fake or not?
No.
Did you buy into it, or did you think this was the show?
I called that from day one.
You did.
I said most people that are truly injured, they roll out of the ring. I called this from day one that it was a faked thing this isn't the first time that he's cashed money in the bank in for something like this. So
correct.
But
they did play the injury thing pretty good. I'll give it that. Did we say we thought this was the work? Yes, we did. Unfortunately, the podcast didn't start until after all that, so we don't have a video document to go back and say, yeah, we thought this was going on. But we did call it. How do I feel about it? I don't think Rollins needs the belt.
No.
I don't think Rollins needed Money in the Bank because he's too big. I think this was a great opportunity for somebody. It doesn't really matter who. But this is a great opportunity for somebody else to have that moment and to move into that direction. But, there's no going back on it now. What did I think about it? I don't know. I would have liked to have seen Drew McIntyre's face when it happened because I'm being told that Drew McIntyre held the belt for 5 minutes 46 seconds. CM Punk held it for 5 minutes 10 seconds. So Drew officially has a longer reign by 30 seconds.
So overall in SummerSlam, what would you consider your best match of the night out of the two-night event?
Oh, no brainer. The match that nobody's talking about. Dominic Mysterio, AJ Styles. How much more could you possibly want out of this, especially if you're an old school fan, to see the guy who is mirroring Eddie Guerrero finally use some Guerrero tactics? I think that was absolutely golden. And here's the thing. The old chair toss, I love it. It's hilarious. It engages the crowd. And, of course, AJ Styles puts the chair over his own head. What was going to happen, Rufus, if the referee saw that and called it? Dominic's going to win because the title don't change hands on DQ.
Correct. So, but, yeah.
And I think that would have been a good angle to say, okay, let's do that just in the shades of fun of Eddie. Ref sees it on AJ's head. Ding, 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 ding. You just, shoot. It don't change hands. I messed up.
I think it was a decent match. I do like to see Dominic using some of that old Eddie style lie, cheat, steal mentality. What I disliked, and I don't know, maybe I just don't know the story behind it. I would have liked to see Dominic come out in the car to get that pop, the old versus having to see AJ Styles come out in
So
that car.
it was strictly just something that was done by AJ as a mind game because as you can see, AJ came out in the gear, the Impala. Also, AJ's son was in the front seat of the car, and he had the shaved blonde head. And all this is just where they went back to 20 years ago. That night was when Ray and Eddie wrestled over rights to Dominic. So obviously Eddie come out in the Impala. Dominic was short blonde haired kid in the car. I think AJ was trying to play head games with him. I think Dom picked up on it, and Dom said, "If you want to play head games like Eddie, I'm going to show you how to do it."
And we talked about this. We talked about, and again, it's sad that we didn't do these podcasts beforehand because who we don't have nothing to prove it. We talked about this weeks ago about Dominic Mysterio
Yeah.
using some Eddie Guerrero stuff and getting that, moving him into that position to further him, because there's a lot of people out there that you're one of them that love that lie, cheat, steal mentality, and he did a great job of it. I think moving forward with Dominic, that's what you need to do. You need to bleed more into that, push more into that. We even talked about, they did a segment of how do you, the quick discussion, real quick. We talked about how do you move Dominic into that lie, cheat, and steal. When he took that belt over to that grave, that was a perfect opportunity for them to start a storyline right there, and in moving him into that. And they've done nothing with it, in my opinion.
And
So
maybe they just haven't thought of it. So that would be something I would like to, throw out there to any creative mind of WWE that they see this. You could have a perfect vignette of Dominic at the grave site. I mean, he was already there. He took pictures of the belt with Eddie's grave. And in the background, you just see Chavo roll up in the Impala and say, "Hey, come take a ride with me. I got some stuff we need to talk about." And I think that you could really capitalize on this in a big, big, big way, um, because they're not going to a Dominic and Rey Mysterio angle. They're keeping Dom with the Eddie look. So, and his whole career is pretty much a tribute to Eddie anyway. So why not just take it for what it is, add the vignette?
And you know what, Dom? If you see this, why don't you propose that, man?
Yeah,
I think you'd get one heck of a pop
yeah.
out of that stuff.
I
But
think it's all fantastic, man. And Eddie was so popular with it, and it's not because Eddie needed it. Go back to Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, man, when he slipped the boot, and you saw Dom do that on SummerSlam. Eddie was one of the best technical wrestlers on the roster. Period. I mean, to outwork that guy, it probably wasn't going to happen, and he still. But that's what I mean. Still, he did the lie, cheat, and steal because it got over on the crowd, man. Like, it was huge. So definitely my match of the night, Dominic Mysterio. Um, that was my absolute favorite, and I'm not sorry for it.
well, my favorite match of the night that I thought, and obviously I think it was a lot of people's match of the night, was obviously Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Um, I I thought those two put on one heck of a match. I think you got to see the best John Cena that you could see for the years of abuse that he's took. He's put on a great match with Cody. I think he gave it everything he had. My opinion with the WWE and the heel turn, worst heel turn, and probably going to go down in history with that. Dumbest thing I've ever seen. I think the heel turn could have been better. I understand John Cena coming out saying I got some bad advice, some bad writing, whatever it may be. I screwed up, but I think you got to follow that through SummerSlam and have Cody humble this guy to changing back. Um,
Well, the lucky good news is his merch sold out.
Well, that's good for him on money, right? I
I
mean,
mean, I think the WWE got extremely lucky that Cena was able to come out, bend the knee, crowd accept, move forward. And you're right, the match that Cena was able to put on at 48 years old, holy shit. I mean, that was a match. That was a great, great match. I like how, it's hard for me to look at Cody and think about Cody going into a bad guy role if that's what they do. I like the whole, toss with yourself and the idea. Do I hit him with the turnbuckle metal? Do I do this? This is my hero. I drove John Cena around when I was 16 years old. Um, this is a, I think it was a good match. Now, what I don't like, Rufus, is I'm going to have to piggyback off my old guy, Stone Cold here. Stop with all the freaking kickouts on 17 finishing moves. It's done. In my opinion, it takes the credibility away.
It does, but I think what maybe, just maybe, what they were trying to piece together there is you had two greats going at it and they couldn't finish each other. No
Well, I
matter
thought you said
what
two
they threw,
grapes.
no matter what happened, they couldn't finish. The finishers they wasn't going to give up. And at the end of that, what you got to see, I thought was really really nice, was Cena passing that torch on to
Do you
Cody
think that's
Rhodes.
what it was?
Well, what else would it have been?
I don't know, just respect. But do you think that Cody Rhodes is in the position for the torch and
My,
to carry this?
my opinion, no. I don't think Cody Rhodes is the guy that can carry the company moving forward. And I say that because I just I don't see it. I don't. He don't have with John Cena. Take John Cena. What'd you have? You got fantastic mic skills, and at one time, great wrestling ability to put on it, or entertainment. Let's use that word
Sure.
because you put on great entertainment. Cody Rhodes, I think, is a decent wrestler, but I don't think he has the mic skills and that pop to grab your attention all the time. I think people have to carry him through some of that stuff. So no, I don't think Cody is the guy. But if that's who they pick to do it moving forward, then that's obviously that's their opinion. So
I think that he's got the capability to do it. I do. But I'll agree. I don't know if that's the guy. But if that's not the guy, who is the guy? You got Jey Uso on the other side who was, on fire, blowing doors down, but looks
well,
like he
he
can't
blows
keep his
himself
he
up.
can't keep his wind. Like, maybe perhaps suggest not going from the top of the stadium to the ring. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do it without having a heart attack. But yeah, it looks like the torch was passed, and for what it is what it is. It's going to depend on the stories they build after passing the torch. That's what it's going to boil down to. So I think it was a great.
So that was my pick for best match of SummerSlam. Now, did you? And I'm sure everyone. This probably one of the biggest things on the internet is after that match. Obviously, John Cena's standing there, talking and thanking everyone, and you had the return of the beat. I bet that hurt. What do you want to bet? But I tell you what, that guy looked like he was in really good shape to be out of this business for
Two
what,
years.
2 years
Two
now.
years on the
So,
day.
and great shape. Not a big Brock Lesnar fan. Never have.
Don't
Sure.
worry, Brock. I am.
Uh, so again, in this podcast, you will see a lot of disagreements on, and that's probably what's going to make this fun because, in my opinion, this guy right here destroys talent.
Oh, well,
And I
yes.
don't mean by putting him through the ring. I mean he's they push him farther than you've got great talent on this roster that could be next in line, and he ruins talent, in my opinion.
Well, the good thing about opinions is we all have them. Brock, I love you. I have followed you from day one, man. Day one. Read the
Should have stayed in
autobiography.
UFC.
Um, what a phenomenal specimen, freak of nature that guy is. And just right there in the picture, you have a glimpse of two 48-year-old men. Cena given what he's got, Lesnar tossing the guy like a rag doll. I think that Brock Lesnar is good for business. I think Brock Lesnar puts asses in seats, and I think Brock Lesnar sells out arenas.
Business wise, sure. Sure, he is good for business. You're right. He draws the crowd. He draws the money. Um, so yeah, for business, for talent, to no, I don't think he's good for talent. That's my opinion. But Cena, I think Cena's got. I think you'll see two more matches left in this guy before he's done. I think the two matches, obviously, you're going to probably see the Jake Paul coming up, and then obviously, if you watch SmackDown, he called out Lesnar, so those will probably be his last. That guy right there will probably be his last match, if I had to guess. Just my guess.
Well, it wouldn't bother me.
And he's probably going to get destroyed.
No.
Not Lesnar, not Lesnar. I feel bad for Cena. He's already, hurting. So.
These guys faced off with each other. It was Brock Lesnar introducing John Cena to Suplex City, and I think it was like 16 suplexes, and then on into the finish. I hope that's not what's in store because I don't want to see that like that. But I think that there's, and here's the thing too. What are they saying? Well, Cena said this is who he wants to end it with, work with. So there again, you don't have to be a Lesnar fan, but if Cena's calling a shot and that's who he wants, I'm all for it. What's going to happen after? I don't know, because Brock Lesnar definitely looked in good enough shape that he could put down a few more years of this stuff at a very high level.
So moving on here, let's move on into good old Monday Night Raw, if you want to.
Rufus, I've got to plug in my headphones here.
You going dead? So I don't know if you watched a lot of Monday Night Raw.
Check.
In my opinion, I got bored with it. I got bored with it. I'm going to be honest with you. To me, it didn't. There was nothing in that thing that captured me. Again, we'll go back to the same old crap, man. Sheamus and Rufus. Or Rufus. That's me. Good old Sheamus and Rusev. So, same old thing. Same old storyline. I mean, and then you had the Alexa and Charlotte. The thing that took me was the LA Knight and Seth thing, where LA Knight, I do agree he should have been next in line to have that title shot, if you want to call it. But then you had good old CM Punk come out and ruin it. So to me, it was just a mediocre Monday Night Raw. I didn't finish it because I wasn't very entertained with it, so.
I did not finish the show. In fact, I can't tell you where I stopped at exactly. It probably was around the Sheamus Rusev spot.
Are you not getting sick of seeing the same matches week after week?
I don't like it. There's enough talent on there that there's other angles you could play out. Like, where's Ron Killings at? Where's that? There's so many things that it's just like we got 10 chefs in the kitchen, and I know we spoke about that plenty of times before. I'm always going to sound super critical. I was very, very critical on Triple H over the curtain call, and in with Unreal, it's just making me, that much more critical on things and why. We're doing this. We're selling out the secrets of what drew everybody to this business in the first place to pick up more modern era fans. I don't want to see repeat matches all the time. It gets boring, it gets old. Do I think the Alexa Bliss Charlotte Flair angle was good? I do, until they brought Charlotte back out to make it look like she just a friend to get back on
and I've said this. Why did they put Alexa and Charlotte together? Well, if you go back and you look at Charlotte, when she made her reappearance, she got booed out of the stadium.
Horrible.
When she was on the mic, she got booed. She got so flustered she forgot the script of what she was going to say because she's not used to being booed out of the stadium. So as a business side, I think they said, holy crap, no one is into her anymore. They are booing her out of the stadium. What are we going to do with her? How do we move her back to the top? In my opinion, Alexa is one that people like, they love. So you tag team her and try to build her back up, and that's I think that's what they're doing with her is got her with someone that can try to build her momentum back. And will it work? I don't know. So far, if you go back and you kind of watch, I think it's working a little bit for them. So let's move on real quick and let's discuss some AEW real quick. I don't know how many people on here are AEW fans. Again, I would. We do have some stuff out there on TikTok and Instagram asking for some information on what's your favorite WWE, AEW, TNA. Send us some.
Oh yeah, definitely. Send in what your questions are going to be.
So um, with AEW, I think you've got a great opportunity to be second in line. And what I mean is you have some opportunity to capture more audience. And for me, what I do not like and why I do not tune into AEW, and I'll go back if you go back and watch the Tony Storm stuff where you're it's the rated X stuff for me, the smut, the that I do not care for. I think they've got some great talent on that roster, uh, but for me, I don't like all that. And how can you? I mean, we'll move into this moving forward with the ESPN stuff that's come out with WWE. AEW has an opportunity to get on a mainline like Peacock, something like that. But with some of the stuff they're promote, all the blood, all the smut stuff they're putting out, how can you, as a like Peacock, how can you say, well, we want to pick you up? Yeah, in my opinion, I don't think it's very good.
Yeah, I don't. 100% transparency. I don't watch a lot of AEW. I did at one point when you had Jericho running wild. Well, I love John Moxley. Loved him as Dean Ambrose. I even liked John Moxley back in the day in the indie circuit, man, and he was pretty gruesome. So I won't take nothing away from those guys on that vantage point. It looks like Hangman Adam Page is kind of blazing trails right now. You had a hell of a showman in Eddie Kingston, and he's been out, been injured, all that good stuff. I don't like the nasty stuff either. The blood and guts that don't bother me. Blood and you're gonna have tons and tons and tons of hardcore fans out there, and there's stuff that they can do with that in moderation. But what'd you say, Tony Storm?
Yeah, her name's Tony Storm.
No, dude, no. I'm not playing that in my house with my kids. Not happening. I'm just not doing it. I don't, because of some of that, I don't have a whole lot of love for it. AEW, who in my opinion is the AEW? I love Dustin Rhodes, man. Dustin Rhodes, legend, been in the game, been in the business, pays his dues, teaches talent, coaches talent, mentors talent. Same time, he runs the Rhodes Wrestling Academy down in Texas. I love Dustin Rhodes. But other than that, no, man, I just don't really have a spot for it until they get rid of some of the smut. Not my deal. I mean, I understand the concept of good guy, bad guy, but in my opinion, when you get guys like MJF, who's a big star, he is huge over there. When he's at signings and he's cussing people out and he's taking what they paid for and throwing it after he signed it, as a parent, as a person, that would probably piss me off. It really would. I wouldn't want to go through that. So I think there's ways that they can tone it down. I think there's ways you don't have a spot, Tony, for the smut. I mean, it's just not. This was something Vince did 25 years ago, got away with it, catapulted stuff up, and now it's gone.
Not like this though. If
No.
you go back and you watch some of this, Vince didn't do stuff like this.
Well, to be fair, Sable did take her top off on live TV, but she had finger paint on her.
Correct. So, let's move. Did you watch any TNA this week? Did you see any TNA this weekend?
Say his name, and he appears. Of course, I watch TNA.
And that one I do watch because again, and so something with TNA that I'd like to touch on. I thought Joe Hendry and good old Ali put on a really good match.
Old Mustafa.
I thought they did really, really good. I was disappointed to see Joe Henry
Well,
lose,
who can't be?
obviously.
All we're watching these days is Joe Hendry getting beat. Like, that's all we're
I don't know
seeing.
what line they're trying to pull there. In my opinion, I would love to see this guy move his way up to WWE.
Well, while we're on it, I want to throw something out there for you, Rufus, something that we haven't otherwise discussed. So this is going to be fresh off the cuff right now on the lounge, okay? Guys, first of all, don't forget, hit the link, send us your questions through emails, and we will select some questions to bring on the next show. But I want to put this out there since clearly, Rufus, our mics, our cars, our phones, something is bugged, and, and they're picking up on it as we talk about it.
Where's a bug?
I don't know. Now, with TNA, with the cross promotion going on, I will tell you an angle I think would be really cool to help it and to put some stuff in with Joe Hendry. Okay?
I'm listening.
I say, due to the way the schedule's going right now, I think Joe Hendry, you obviously saw him getting beat down, getting jumped, interference like crazy with several people. You saw him do the RKO, bro. I think you run Randy Orton in there to help Joe Hendry out, and that is a great way to pull Joe Hendry into the big time and give him a bit of well, I mean, I will just tell you, some of the big avenues in wrestling right now, they're saying that Randy Orton is today's Undertaker in the locker room. And I think that's a perfect way to really spike some ratings and really get things ready for a potential shift into the WWE. If not, if they're not ready, I think you run Randy Orton in this to help protect him in a big title match with whoever's got the belt. Trick Williams or Oba. No, that's NXT. Yeah, Trick Williams, right? Yeah. And speaking of that, while we're on that, what are your thoughts of these NXT talent contracted guys holding the TNA gold?
I don't know what the angle is there. I know they're all bleeding over,
Well, by God, where we come from,
And I think a lot of that has to do with, was TNA hurting? I don't know. To be in the works with NXT. Obviously, you got to see Joe Henry in a Randy Orton match on the WWE. I I don't know. I don't know what the angle is there.
I think promoting the cross promotion is great. I think it could be very helpful, especially for some situations like Joe Hendry. But Joe Hendry kind of made it through, man. He kind of bled through the crack and got really, really over. And then he's just kind of been on a losing angle. I mean, what happens with the losing angle if you can't figure out how to win, how to put it together? You start losing steam.
It was at what, WrestleMania, when Joe Hendry showed up for Randy Orton.
Yeah,
That was my favorite match of
I was about to
WrestleMania.
say, wasn't that
But
your favorite?
if you take that, when Joe Hendry, you got a WWE event with WrestleMania, Randy Orton, and good old Joe Hendry from TNA shows up to fight. People in that crowd was singing his music. Now these are WWE fans.
Correct.
And you take a TNA talent, I'm telling you, this guy's ready, in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong, but again, we all have them. I think Hendry needs to be moved up to the main roster of WWE.
I won't disagree with that. Even if with the way this is going, at some point in time, there's got to be a little bit of payback on this. TNA's got to get their straps back. I mean, you could easily have a run-in with this with Obafemi and Joe Hendry. Now you got Joe Hendry holding NXT's big belt, and you work him through. I don't know. I would like to see something.
I will say something that TNA does have going for them, and we talked about this after watching the show. They have a lot better camera angles.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I mean, to be lower talent, lower type card, I think their camera angles are more on point than what the WWE has. That's just, again, I like their camera angles better. So
they're doing a great job with with the camera angles and how they're doing stuff. I do agree with that 100%. And I do want to make mention of something in a biased way. I have come to discover Mance Warner is in TNA. Mance is somebody that I worked with personally from like '09 to 2012. And I wish you all the best, man. I'm really happy to see you made it. I'm really happy to see you kept pushing and got where you got. I don't know how you do those matches. I saw a match where he got his tongue stapled to the top turnbuckle.
So we'll move away from any of that. What's your guys' thoughts on TNA and leave them in there, right there in the email. Let us know what's your take on it. What can they do better? How can they move forward? And do you think that he is ready? Old Joe Hendry is ready to move up.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, make sure that you are utilizing this email address deal and send us what you got,
Or what's your thoughts on it? Again, just two guys standing here giving our opinions. What's your opinion on it?
Correct.
So, did you watch? Moving on, we'll go back. Did you watch any SmackDown over Friday there?
Actually, yes, Rufus.
I thought it was a little bit more entertaining than Raw.
I actually made a post on our social post. Wait, guys, we are the Wrestling Lounge, and we are on all social medias: TikTok, YouTube,
Facebook, Instagram.
Well, we're not on the old Twitter. Yeah. We don't tweet. I did post a thing. I actually.
Isn't it called X now?
Yeah.
DX.
Either way, you can find us on all those socials, guys. Send follows, whatever you want to do. TikTok, YouTube will be our primary for doing what we're doing here. But nonetheless, I did post as they were having the celebration and the Lily Doll was getting an upgrade. I did go on and I made a video asking some questions, and I thought it was a good show.
It wasn't bad.
I was happy to see Drew McIntyre.
Oh, I think, finally a guy that, we've talked about. Again, we'll go back. Something's bugged. We talked about, you have Drew McIntyre, Karrion Kross, that is good talent that they're not doing anything with. That is just kind of put to the wayside. And I'm finally glad to get to see, okay, is he going to challenge Cody for that belt? I mean, will he do it? I don't know. I think, is that the push they're going to try to make with it?
And whatever we do, guys, don't let CM Punk get involved in the storyline with Drew again.
I mean, to me, that makes no sense.
Old news.
So, you got to see John Cena come out. You got to see the old John Cena, come get some with Brock Lesnar.
So what's with Logan Paul?
I don't know.
You want to know what would have made that, in my opinion? I was sitting here, I was watching, and I'll tell you my personal take on this, Rufus. And I know that you are anti-Lesnar. You want my opinion? Brock Lesnar comes out and F5s the shit out of Logan Paul and says, "Wait in line, son, because it's my turn."
Well, I don't know what the storyline is there.
But you realize with that right there, you could have still saved Cena, Lesnar, if that's what Cena wants for later down the road. And now you have opened up an angle with the most controversial wrestler talent in Logan Paul and the Beast.
Well, something, we talked about Brock Lesnar back at the SummerSlam segment, and something that I forgot to discuss, and just opinions that we talked about, was what's the plan with this guy? Why do you return at SummerSlam? Why now?
This is another one, Rufus. This
correct.
is going to be another one.
I want to get this out there first.
You heard it here.
I want to get this out there first. That way someone else
I'm glad you brought it up.
Because
two things.
It was in my notes.
A month or better before SummerSlam, and even the Thursday prior to SummerSlam.
We said he'd be back.
Yes. He was spotted.
No one called this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
There are other places that are saying nobody saw this coming. Yeah, in fact, we did. Why? Because obviously he was spotted. So there's one. Number two, he was supposed to be in the 24 Rumble and got removed due to all the stuff going on. Not going to go into it. Number three, it's time. It's time for it. So yeah, there was a couple of guys right here in good old Muncie, Indiana.
So my opinion is the reason why Rock is back is he is the enforcer for the Rock.
He's
John
doing the bidding.
Cena, I think this is, and maybe not, but they could play it this way. John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Cody turned him back good. You haven't seen much, heard much from The Rock since The Rock basically turned Cena bad.
They should have
So,
kept his ass out of this.
well, that's a whole different story.
It is.
But I think what you could see with this is that the John Cena and The Rock made a phone call. Hey, I need you to go take care of this guy for me.
Oh, yeah.
That's my opinion. He's back because of The Rock. He's going to be obviously Brock's never been a baby face, call it. So why not? Why not run that line of that storyline? But moving on real quick with SmackDown.
So yeah, him calling out Brock saying, "Come get some." Logan Paul showing up. Now, this again is where our opinions vary because you like Logan Paul. I'm not such a Logan Paul fan. I will give
And
flowers that he is very athletic and man, he does pull off some good moves. My issue with him, I think Rufus is a lot like some of the other guys, is he didn't pay his dues. You don't pay your way into this, and maybe he didn't. Maybe this is just a schmoz to get all of his followers to come in. But you've ran him through, put belts on him, done this. That now he's challenging John Cena in the farewell tour.
I disagree with him challenging John Cena in the farewell tour. I like Logan Paul. I think he has some good talent to be someone that has not been brought up in this business to be just a YouTuber. I think he's very athletic, and I think he brings that type of crowd into the business, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't see the storyline between him and John Cena. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think, and again, well, even seeing Jelly Roll during summer, to me, that was just the stupidest thing that I've ever seen in the world. But
hold on, I gotta cover up.
Yeah, I bet he.
I do love Jelly Roll, but it just wasn't your match. It wasn't.
So, I mean, I don't understand the storyline there. Maybe we'll see it play out in weeks to come. I don't understand is if Cena only has maybe 2 or 3 main matches left, why you would pick a Logan Paul to be part of your farewell last match type situation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why not pick someone like Sheamus or Karrion Kross? You know what I mean? Why not play something there? And maybe there's just not enough time to play it, but it is what it is. So
Correct. Maybe not.
anything else you want to touch on SmackDown? Did you see the birthday cake? That was.
I did. Unfortunately, Chelsea Green ate it. I think
you got
Chelsea
to see the new little doll that she gave Alexa.
The Lily doll.
Now, here's again my opinion. What I thought would have been great, or what my expectation was when she was giving her a gift, was what she call that doll? Lily doll.
Yeah.
Is if she would have took that Lily doll, boxed it up, and changed the way it looked, like made it more like Charlotte Flair type, more pretty, like,
the cheerleader.
What do you think Alexa would have done to her then if she would have touched her little Lily doll like
I don't know, man. It could be a thing, and I know that those two are capable of putting on some great matches. So maybe we'll see something down the road where you get to see that. Because I'll tell you, people don't give the divas enough credit, in my opinion.
Absolutely not. They are putting on a heck of a show.
They out-wrestle the guys, in my opinion, 8 out of 10 times. And let's don't listen. I'm going to touch on something here that let's just keep it. Let's relax. Stephanie Vacure. I know that's your main.
That is squeeze. That's my ex-wife coming up.
So I get it, man. They're such a great job, Stephanie. If you ever get a chance to see this, we really love what you do. so incredibly talented, and even pushed herself off to help build what's coming. That's real ethics right there, in my opinion. SmackDown, I think, was a great show. I really think it was good. I liked all the segments of it pretty well. I didn't have an issue with anything. Um, I, Chelsea Green, my opinion, very, very underutilized talent. What a talent. I mean, not only are you getting Chelsea Green, you know she's married to Matt Cardona, who's been in this thing forever and is good at what he does. I just wish that they would utilize her a whole lot better than just being a stiff that hides behind people. I mean, go back, look up Chelsea Green versus Penta. I mean, you talk about a woman who can put on a match. Holy shit. I mean, that was a match. And I think that if you go back and watch that, it'll piss you off for how she's getting used right now.
I agree. She very unused talent. But if you go back and watch Unreal,
I do what I'm told.
correct. A lot of these people anymore, it's and I get it. We're all out to pay the bills, make money,
Sure.
whatever it may be.
Sure.
So you do as you're told. So if that means you constantly have to lose, or you constantly have to hide behind two people, or you got to play again, you got to play a dumb bimbo, and there's those
Rufus
women.
tells it like it is.
Those women have so much talent
Oh, yeah.
that is being not used they have so much to give, and in my opinion, some of you take your Charlotte Flair. She's had her time. It's time to move, put the boots up, retire. I don't know what to tell you. It's time. It's time to move on. I'm not a Flair person. I know you are.
Woo!
But that's my opinion. I think you've
No,
got,
hold on.
got
You're,
some really
you're
good
not
talent.
wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I am a Flair guy.
But-
Okay. But right now, women's division, I'm a
Tippy
time.
time. I'm glad she still holds the belt.
I love you, Tiffany.
I think.
I don't care what Ludwig has to say.
Well, right now, according to Charlotte, he's in her DMs.
Well, that's his own fault.
I don't understand that. It's got to be